There are roughly 33 billion domestic chickens on Earth right now. They are the most populous bird on the planet, serving as the primary animal feeding civilization. In the 19th century, Charles Darwin studied domestic animals to determine their wild roots. He concluded that all chickens descended from a single wild ancestor, the red jungle fowl. A century later, a second theory took hold. Archaeologists excavating agricultural settlements in the Yellow River Basin of northern China found thousands of bird bones, dating back 8,000 years. They concluded that poultry farming originated there in the early Holocene. New evidence shows that both the 19th century theory and the 20th century archaeological claims were incorrect. Researchers are now using two specific clues: a mutation hidden in the DNA of modern flocks and a physical re-examination of those ancient bones to uncover the actual history of where these birds came from. If you look closely at many modern domestic chickens, you'll notice a distinct physical trait: bright yellow skin on their legs. The red jungle fowl, which Darwin identified as the sole ancestor, has dark grayish legs. It lacks the genetics to produce that yellow skin. When geneticists mapped the genome of the domestic chicken, they traced the yellow leg trait to a completely different wild bird native to South Asia, the gray jungle fowl. This trait comes from a regulatory mutation. Normally, an enzyme breaks down yellow dietary pigments called carotenoids, but in chickens with this mutation, that skin filter shuts off, allowing yellow carotenoids to deposit directly into their legs. Once human farmers noticed these bright yellow legs, they likely selected for them. Viewing the vibrant color as a sign of health or fertility, early breeders caused the trait to spread through global flocks. The presence of gray jungle fowl DNA proves that the modern chicken is a hybrid of multiple wild ancestors, correcting Darwin's single origin assumption. That solves the genetic mystery, but it leaves the archaeological claim unresolved. To test the timeline from the 1980s, scientists looked at the environment of the Yellow River Basin 8,000 years ago. Prehistoric climate data shows that early Holocene northern China was a cool environment. While the summers had periods of humidity, the winters were harsh and freezing. Wild jungle fowl are thermophilic, meaning they thrive in heat and require thick tropical underbrush to survive. They are biologically unequipped to withstand freezing temperatures and sparse winter canopies. To even reach northern China from the tropics, these birds would have had to cross massive, steep-walled rivers. Because junglefowl are poor flyers who mostly glide short distances, wide water crossings act as impassable geographical barriers. The climate data and geographical terrain make it physically impossible for chicken ancestors to have naturally lived or been farmed in ancient northern China, which raises an obvious question. If chickens couldn't survive in that region, what animal left behind thousands of bones in those early agricultural settlements? Scientists turned to osteomorphology, the study of precise bone shapes and structures. Re-examining the fossils for diagnostic markers, they applied strict scale measurements. This definitively ruled out the chicken, as the bones simply didn't fit the physical dimensions. Instead, the structural analysis confirmed the fossils belonged to the common pheasant, a wild bird naturally adapted to the harsh northern Chinese winters. By correcting the species identification for these fossils, the 1980s timeline for northern Chinese poultry husbandry vanishes. These sites were not the source of the domestic chicken. This map illustrates China's zoogeographical boundaries, dividing the cool Paleoarctic north from the tropical Indo-Malayan south. The chicken's origin wasn't a single location event, but a multi-species hybridization process within these southern tropical environments, where multiple junglefowl species overlap. Our understanding of this bird has evolved alongside our scientific tools. We moved from Darwin's visual observations to today's precision DNA sequencing and high-resolution climate modeling. Science is a continuously self-correcting process. As technology improves, new evidence forces us to update history, even for an animal as familiar as the chicken.